Barkley smells gas. He leaves fast. When Barkley hears hissing coming from a gas appliance, he leaves fast. When Barkley sees dirt or water shooting from the ground, he leaves fast. Barkley then calls 911 and Southwest Gas from a safe location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
Gas lines can be buried anywhere, so remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas.
Hey guys, if you have low T, it's time to get your edge back. Start testosterone therapy at Red Mountain Weight Loss and get a month of GLP-1 weight loss medications absolutely free. That's a $299 value. Listen, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. Prescription testosterone restores your get up and go, so you'll feel like you're 20 again. Get more muscle with less effort in the gym. You'll also think better, sleep better, and your love life will be better. Look, don't be fooled. Nothing boosts testosterone like actual testosterone. It's a game changer. And if you're looking to lose weight, there's nothing like the combo of testosterone and a GLP-1 medication. It'll burn that belly fat and get you ripped. This month, get free GLP-1 medication, a $299 value, when you start testosterone therapy only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Book your video appointment today. Go to redmountainweightloss.com or dial pound 250 on your phone. Keyword Red Mountain. Time to get your edge back at Red Mountain Weight Loss.
What's that song that goes ba-da-da-da-da-da?
You mean la-di-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee?
No, he's talking about bum, 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 bum.
No, that's not it.
All right, guys, we don't have time for this. Furnaces are breaking down, and we promise we'll be there in one day.
That's it.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Oh, that song.
One of my favorites. If you have a problem today, Alaskan AC will get to you within one day.
If we don't, the whole repair is free.
No matter how much.
So good, people are singing about it.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Reminds me of another song that goes boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom.
I've never heard that.
Well, you're not as cultured as me.
You have about as much culture as a bowl of yogurt.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
AlaskanAC.com.
Right now at Marquee in Scottsdale, buy a brand new 2025 Kia K4 for $369 a month for 72 months at 4.99% APR with just $2,000 down.
The name to remember? Mark Kia. Mark Kia. Finance. Offer expires February 7, 2026.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
It's January 22nd, 2026. It is the Thursday edition of the lunch break right here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan, with you for the next 2 hours here on the show. We continue to keep you updated on all things Arizona Cardinals in their coaching search. The Suns with another much-needed day off before they're back in action tomorrow night. We'll talk more about their trade deadline plans because before you know it, the NBA trade deadline is going to be here. We'll talk about a Paul Goldschmidt reunion today as well. So thanks for hanging out with us today here on the show. But we start with one word that I think should describe this entire search for the Arizona Cardinals.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
And that word is patience. Patience is what the Arizona Cardinals need to have in their search for their next head coach. Patience is going to be the key for the Cardinals to get to the other side of this coaching search and feeling good about who they landed as the next head coach of this franchise. Patience is going to be the key, I think, for all of us to feel like the Cardinals ended up with a good result in this process, because what patience is going to test is how badly these other teams want certain candidates. Because the Arizona Cardinals' patience can be them just trying to outlast everybody else. There are still, 6 openings in the NFL right now? 5 outside of the Arizona Cardinals. Buffalo today conducting more of their search. They had Brian Daboll in the building. The Steelers, it appears as though they're narrowing it down, but they're still out there searching. Baltimore is still searching for their head coach. Cleveland, Vegas, and then the Arizona Cardinals make up the final 6 teams looking for their next head coach. And it should be the motto of the Arizona Cardinals to outlast those teams. Outlast those teams in this search, because those other teams may be impatient. Those teams may not be willing for Seattle or LA to lose in the NFC Championship. They may really want Clint Kubiak to be their next head coach, but they may not want to wait if Seattle wins this week another 2+ weeks to hire Clint Kubiak to be their next head coach. They may not want to fall behind, because that's the other part of all of this. Yeah, you can wait to hire Clint Kubiak, but how many offensive coordinators come and go between now and that time? How many defensive coordinators come and go in that time? How many DBs coaches? How many offensive line coaches? How many run game coordinators? How many linebacker coaches get hired to other staffs while you sat around waiting for Clint Kubiak? Or while you sat around waiting for Davis Webb? Or you waited for Patrick Brown? Or Michael LaFleur or Chris Shula? Patience is going to be key here for the Arizona Cardinals. And I would argue it's the one thing they have that they can leverage over all these other teams. Because we've said it before. Where's the Cardinals' place in line here? It's at the back. It's probably last. There was an Athletic story earlier this week that ranked all of the openings. The Cardinals finished last on the list. They asked 10 coaches and executives, so 10 votes total, to look at all these jobs. And this was including the jobs that have been filled, but to look at all 10 of these jobs and say, which one would you want? The Cardinals finished dead last. They didn't get a vote higher than 8th. 10 jobs. They didn't get a vote higher than 8th. All of their votes were either 8th, 9th, or last. That's how you're viewed in this cycle. You're viewed as the worst job in this cycle. So how can you tip the scales into your favor? How can you potentially tip the scales and get somebody that we're going to say, man, great job. What a great hire this was for the Arizona Cardinals, because we've lived through this. We've sat here every day talking about this coaching search, and you're worried, just like I'm worried, that they may not get a good candidate in this cycle. So for us to give that round of applause that they got a good candidate to take this gig might be a test of their patience. Wait everybody else out. Make it so that they blink in this game of chicken. Because of your place in the process, I don't know how many of these coaches, even if Clint Kubiak was available today, even if Chris Shula was available today, even if Michael LaFleur was available today, would they be running to take the Arizona Cardinals job, or would they be running to Baltimore? Or would they be running to Pittsburgh or Vegas or Buffalo? They're probably going to run to those jobs first. Now, yes, there's a drawback to being patient. There is a drawback to waiting this out. And I mentioned it. You don't get a jump on your coaching staff. Tennessee, they got their head coach in Robert Saleh. They now can build out a staff. They're talking to Cliff Kingsbury. They're talking to Arthur Smith. They're talking to Bobby Slowick. They're going to get their offensive coordinator for Cam Ward in place right away. Robert Saleh, defensive-minded guy, knows that he has to have a really good offensive coordinator to make up for the mistakes that he made his first go-around. So he took a job, and he's starting to build his staff. Baltimore can't build the staff right now. Buffalo can't build a staff right now. The Cardinals can't build a staff right now. You don't have a head coach. So that's the drawback, is all these good candidates could come and go. And so if you hire a defensive-minded guy, all the top offensive coordinator options might be gone. It's a risk you run. But I think it is a risk worth taking, because it might be the only way for the Cardinals to avoid Vance Joseph or Arthur Smith or Matt Nagy being their next head coach. It may be the only way to avoid one of those retread second chance head coaching candidates that isn't going to do anything to energize this fan base. We talk about all the time winning the press conference. We talk about winning the moment, right? And that can be overblown. The Cardinals need to win this moment. The Cardinals need to win the press conference. And the Suns are the perfect example of this, because Brian Gregory and Jordan Knott didn't win the moment. Those hires came across the wire, and you're like, really? This is what you're going to get? They didn't win the moment. They didn't win the press conference, although in the case of Jordan, he certainly did. But the results now have changed that narrative. So, again, you don't have to win the press conference to work out. But I think the Cardinals need to energize this fan base. They need to energize you. They need to energize me. They need to energize producer Evan. You went 3-14 last season. You had one of the worst years in your franchise's history, if not the worst year in your franchise's history. The most losses you've ever had in a regular season. You are at the bottom. You need to do whatever little you can to raise from the bottom. And right now, we're not playing any games between now until September. So you're not going to have those results to change the narrative. The draft isn't until April. Free agency isn't until March. There aren't things to get excited about. This coaching search is the one thing that can help potentially turn this boat around. And so you need to look for every little edge possible. And I'll admit, it may not work out. You may still end up with Arthur Smith or Vance Joseph or Matt Nagy, an uninspiring, unexciting candidate in the building. But to me, is Baltimore really going to want to wait around to build a staff around Lamar Jackson? Is Buffalo? They were late to the party. Is Buffalo going to want to wait around for Davis Webb to potentially become available, for Clint Kubiak to potentially come available? Or do they want to get somebody like a Brian Dable in right now and off to the races, building this offseason out to help Josh Allen? You, because you are the worst situation possible, may benefit from being patient. I think it's the only way for the Cardinals to land a candidate they love. It may not lead to it. I think it's the only way they can get a candidate they love. Just outlast everybody. Just be the last team searching. Do you think Buffalo's going to wait till the end of the Super Bowl? Do you think Pittsburgh's going to wait till the end of the Super Bowl? Do you think Baltimore's going to wait till the end of the Super Bowl? They might. I get the sense Pittsburgh may go by the end of the week.
Yeah, the only way, to me, Buffalo would wait till the end of the Super Bowl is if they loved Clint Kubiak or they loved one of the offensive coordinators still left, to me. It's the only reason.
And good reason to love Clint Kubiak working with Josh Allen. A good reason to love Davis Webb to come back and work with somebody he calls his best friend in Josh Allen to be the head coach and draw up that offense around him, right? I mean, there are reasons to want to hold on, but you run the risk of, what if those coaches pick other places? What if those coaches pick Cleveland or Baltimore or another spot? And now you've waited until the last minute. Here's where patience helps the Cardinals. Buffalo can't afford to be patient. Buffalo can't afford to get to the end of the road here and not get a good candidate. They're in a Super Bowl window. Baltimore, they're in the peak of Lamar in Baltimore. They can't wait till the end and maybe miss on all the top candidates. They have to get somebody in here that they believe in right away. The Cardinals, let's face it, 6 wins next season would be much better than what we saw last season. 6 wins, we may be skipping in Glendale.
We're going to be rejuvenated with 6 wins.
You're not looking at next season saying Super Bowl or bust like they are in Baltimore, like they are in Buffalo. Playoffs and a deep run in the playoffs like they're talking about in Pittsburgh. You're not in that situation, so you can afford to get to the end, and maybe the choices aren't great. The choices aren't great for you right now because there is nobody that's going to run to take this job right now. So the one word that I would use right now, don't rush to go hire Vance Joseph. Don't rush to go hire Matt Nagy or Arthur Smith or the guy who's coming in for an in-person interview today, Anthony Campanelli. Don't rush. You have a benefit that I think other teams, mainly the top choices in this cycle, you have an advantage that they don't. Now, just because you have an advantage doesn't mean it works out for you. We see this in sports all the time. Team has an advantage running the football. That day, the defense able to stop their run game, your advantage is gone. Just because you have an advantage doesn't mean it's going to work out for you. But you need to look for every advantage possible if you're the Arizona Cardinals. And to me, patience is the only thing they have.
This is one of those coaching searches where, and it doesn't happen often in the NFL. We talked about it a lot with the Suns, and we talked about it comparatively to social media about all the names on their list. They have to have all those names on the list because they're not going to get 80% of those interviews.
Or they're not going to get their top choice. We've said this for a while now that I think Robert Saleh was their top choice. And he's gone. He's in Tennessee. They're talking to Anthony Campanelli today. He may get another interview and get another gig that he really likes, or he may choose to say, you know what, I don't want to coach the Arizona Cardinals next season. So you may not get the guy you actually want. I think the best way to ensure that you get somebody you love in this process is you got to outlast everybody. It's like a game of Survivor. Outlast, outwit, outsmart, outplay, whatever the tagline is. Bunch of outs. You got to outlast everybody. Because Buffalo's not going to want to sit at the end here. And Buffalo is an attractive job, but Buffalo doesn't want to sit and watch Clint Kubiak go to Baltimore and LaFleur take the Cleveland gig. And all of a sudden, you don't get the guy you want. Now, maybe those guys would rather Buffalo. Most coaching candidates would probably rather Buffalo than Cleveland, but you just don't know if a guy is somebody Buffalo wants, if that coach wants to go to Buffalo. There are so many variables to this. And you don't want to get to the end here and be left with, we fired Sean McDermott after 6 straight years of not going to the Super Bowl and winning a playoff game. And now we're actually downgrading a coach. We've actually taken a step backwards. You can't afford that.
It doesn't make, it wouldn't make sense for them. And it would be a step backwards in a time where they need to push all their chips in the middle.
Cardinals can wait till the end. And you know what? If they end up with Vance Joseph or Arthur Smith or Matt Nagy, okay, you were probably going to end up there anyway. You're probably going to end up with the worst coaching hire in this cycle anyway. So just be patient. Just be patient. I think it'll pay off in the long run for the Arizona Cardinals. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us, hang out with us here today on the program. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the Cardinals coaching search. Anthony Campanelli, we're going to talk about him here today on the program, scheduled for an in-person interview today, his second interview with the team. We'll talk about his candidacy and whether or not this makes him the favorite at this stage for the Cardinals job. Listen over on the KDUS AM 1060 app, and you can listen for your chance to win 2 tickets to the MLB Players Trust Playmakers Classic Warehouse 215, Wednesday, February 18th. Sip, savor, mingle, compete, a fundraising event experience. They're celebrating 30 years of impact at the Playmakers Classic 2026. 3 hours of nonstop experiences and excitement as they welcome 400 playmakers, including 100 baseball players, for an unforgettable night of entertainment, connection, and giving back. They've got it all. Live performances, food and drink. They're going to have experiences and activations from fanatics, live broadcasts. Whether you're a fan, a collector, a foodie, philanthropist, this milestone event, your chance to be a part of something legendary. And we've got your chance to win two tickets for listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app. When we come back, is there something that the Suns have to do at the trade deadline? That's next, a lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Bad Omens. Do you feel love? North American Tour 2026. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, March 24th. Bad Omens. With special guests, Beartooth and President. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Bad Omens. Live in Glendale.
Maybe you've had your eye on a Fulton home. The premium craftsmanship, thoughtfully designed floor plans, resort-style amenities, and award-winning communities across the valley. A place where every detail feels intentional. For many buyers, homeownership can feel out of reach. But now, owning a Fulton home is more attainable than ever. With special pricing, limited time incentives, and interest rate buydowns on select homes, now is the right moment to make your move. From beautifully designed interiors to the legendary quality Fulton Homes is known for, every detail is built to stand the test of time. Visit any Fulton Homes community today or go to fultonhomes.com. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build.
Take advantage of thousands of dollars in SRP rebates and discounts on energy-efficient home upgrades like new air conditioning units, windows, ducts, and insulation. Save money on your energy bill while also making your home more comfortable. SRP's network of participating contractors can guide you from start to finish and maximize your savings by combining Inflation Reduction Act incentives with SRP rebates. Learn more at savewithsrp.com.
Jerome here with your Rome Report. The NFL head coaching carousel is absolutely bonkers, of course, but one hiring that completely captivates me does not involve a head coach, but rather Mike McDaniel reportedly heading to the Chargers as their offensive coordinator. I love that this dude is still red hot despite being unceremoniously broken off in Miami. If I'm Baltimore or Buffalo, I would actually hire this guy to be my head coach. But short of that, everybody in need of an offensive coordinator was lined up to hire McD. And better to take a job with the Bolts, work with Justin Herbert, get him and them over the hump, and then your stock is soaring once again. Better that than taking a bad head coaching job with a bad roster, a bad organization, and then you're out on the streets again in 2 to 3 years and you don't get a third shot. Here he sets himself up for a strong head coaching job when the time is right, and weird is good. And now weird Jim Harbaugh and weird Mike McD will be in the same weird building, and I am so here for it. I'm Jim Rome.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
There is no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks. Just pick 2 to 6 players, pick more or less on their stat projections, and submit your lineup to play. Download the Prize Picks app right now. Use my code ROME and get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code ROME on Prize Picks to get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get the $50 credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert.
And then the Tennessee Titans landed Robert Saleh reportedly as their head coach. And that was the first domino that bothered me because the Cardinals were scheduled to interview with him right after. Cardinals have to take their place in line. And it's starting to feel like the Cardinals' place in line is all the way at the back. That the Cardinals have taken that number at the deli counter and they're waiting. And they're going to have to hope when they get up that there's still a good selection to choose from. That these Rams coordinators are still, in fact, around. That Clint Kubiak is still a valuable option.
Live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
I think if you've been listening to this show over the last couple of weeks, you'll know where we stand. And welcome back into the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan with you. We've been talking about the Suns needing to do something at this year's NBA trade deadline. We've been on board with, hey, I get it. You don't want to upset the apple cart. You like what you've seen. Dwayne Rankin reported this earlier the week, that the Suns are super happy with how competitive they've been, how hard they're playing, the chemistry that the team has. And I get all that. This team has exceeded every expectation possible. Jordan Ott has, in year one, looked like a seasoned 10-year vet, right? I mean, you when you sit down to watch Suns games, you kind of forget that Jordan Ott is a first-year head coach. It just feels comfortable watching him coach. It feels comfortable watching the team play. It just feels normal. It doesn't feel like, hey, this is year one of this. So I get not wanting to completely turn that on its head by making a big splash. And I don't think we've advocated for making a big splash. We just think the Suns could improve on the margins, maybe get another guard in here, add a power forward, make some moves that just raise the floor a little bit for this team. Just get some small reinforcements in here for a team that has exerted so much energy to get to where they're at right now. And producer Evan came in today and he's like, hey, what if we talked about some potential options, some potential players that could make sense for the Suns to go out and get at the trade deadline? And then that got me thinking, is there something more important for the Suns than getting a specific player or targeting a specific position? Because if you go to your favorite NBA salary cap resource, whatever that is for you, you will notice that the Phoenix Suns right now are over the luxury tax. They're under the first apron. They're under the second apron. And I am so thankful that I don't have to talk about aprons and what it stops the Suns from being able to do and worrying about matching salaries in a trade I'm so glad you were not here last year for that. But from the months of January and February, all we talked about were aprons and what the Suns couldn't do because they were a second apron team and how we needed 14 teams to be a part of a trade for the Suns to land Jimmy Butler. I'm so thankful that the Suns have got their house in order here, and I no longer have to talk about that. But they are still over the luxury tax. They're under both aprons, but they're over the luxury tax, and they're a repeater, which means they've been over the luxury tax for consecutive seasons. And they get penalized harsher for being over the luxury tax as a repeater team. And that might not matter right now, but it matters in the future. It matters in the medium-term future. I don't want to talk long-term because anything outside of 4 or 5 years, I don't know what the Suns roster is going to look like. But the medium term of the next 2 or 3, this matters. And getting under that luxury tax and resetting being a repeater gives the Suns some advantages when, this offseason, Colin Gillespie's going to need a new deal. They're going to want to talk about a Mark Williams extension. And so if you stay as a repeater and you go into next season over the tax, that Mark Williams extension, it costs more. That Colin Gillespie extension, it costs more. Any player that you go out and acquire, either via a trade or in free agency, now it costs more. Because not only do you have to pay out the contract, but you have to pay the luxury tax, and you're hit with the bonus repeater of, you were going to pay this tax rate, it's actually this tax rate, because you've been over this threshold multiple years in a row. So more so than getting a specific player, a backup point guard, a power forward, rather than looking at stories that tell you maybe trading for Javon Carter, perhaps the Suns need to focus on getting their financial house in even more order than it already is. And trading somebody like, let's say, a Nick Richards, who's owed $5 million this season. We're about halfway through. And by moving his money, they could get themselves under that luxury tax, no longer be a repeater, and that can help them. The Phoenix Suns, they don't control any of their draft picks over the next couple of years. Not all of them. They are limited in what they can do. Certainly, I think Matt Ishbia learned his lesson, and the Phoenix Suns are never going to be a second apron team ever again. So they are limited in their resources. You need to create leverage, create flexibility. We talk about this on the show all the time. I love when teams have maximum flexibility in drafts, in free agency. Don't box yourself into a corner. The Suns, with Beal and Durant, boxed themselves into a corner that they couldn't get out of. They didn't have a way out of last season. They were stuck. They started to untangle that ball of yarn this offseason. It's a big ball of yarn. They didn't fully untangle it. They did a really good job, but they set it down and they walked away from it for a little bit. They've got to go back. They've got to pick it up and continue to unwind this ball of yarn and get under this luxury tax. And so I wonder if that is more the strategy this trade deadline, of continuing the work that they did last summer to clean up their financial house, to set themselves up for the future.
In doing that, is there a way you could add somebody? Because the one thing we have talked about on this show is showing this roster, showing the team, hey, we love what you've done. We believe in this roster, and rewarding that. Is doing that counteracting and saying like, hey, we love what this roster has done, and so much so that we think we can get under the luxury tax, still compete, and then play for next year? Is that a sales pitch you can sell to this team?
Matt Ishbia is not going to allow the luxury tax to stop him from helping this team if there is a move out there to make this team better. Matt Ishbia isn't going to tell Brian Gregory, no, I don't want to make this move because we're a repeater luxury tax team, and this will take us further into that, and it's going to cost us more. Matt Ishbia has shown he's not going to be that owner. He is going to give this organization every resource they need. And so to your point, can there be a deal that allows them to walk and chew gum at the same time? Is there a deal out there that lessens their tax bill but helps them in another area? That may feel very pie in the sky, but that's the kind of work that you need to be doing if you're this Suns front office. And I think that's the work that Brian Gregory and his staff are probably trying to look at. And maybe it's not the same move. Maybe it's two moves at once. Maybe it's, hey, we move a Nick Richards or another contract that can help us get under the tax. And then we make this other move to bring in a player that helps us. Maybe it's 2 moves. Maybe it's not all wrapped up into one nice present under the Christmas tree. Maybe it's a couple of gifts. Yeah, I think they'll do that. What they won't do is say, oh, the only thing we're going to do this trade deadline is get under the luxury tax and not look to improve. Now, there could be a world where they don't like the prices that are out there. They don't find a deal that works for them. And so the only thing they can end up doing is lowering their luxury tax bill. And that's not a bad thing either. I'm of the belief that they should try to improve this team, even if it means, going further into the tax. I think they should try to reward this team for the job that they've done, and Jordan Ott, the job that they have done at the start of this season. They're in the mix for a top 5 seed in the Western Conference. Help them out. That, to me, should be priority number 1. But I wonder if there's a subplot to all of this of where they can kind of thread this needle and fix their financial house while also making this team better. It's possible. Nick Richards is a popular name. They could do this. There are plenty of teams need a backup big man. For Nick Richards, he's center 3 on this team. So he doesn't have a lot of opportunity. And I think they would rather that spot go to Kaman Malawach anyway. So Nick Richards and his salary feel like the perfect teams are going to want this player and what he provides. It's going to free up the money, and maybe the Suns can get back something of value. Is it going to blow us away, the backup point guard or the power forward that they get? No. But could they improve this team? I think they can.
Yeah. Improving on the margins. That's what we knew this deadline was going to be about.
Improving on the margins, I think, is exactly what this team needs to do. And it's also, as I mentioned earlier, balancing the short and the long term. Helping this team out in the short term, but helping in the medium term of freeing up your financial resources for the extensions that are coming, right? Looking 2-3 years down the road and planning and having that foresight to look into the future and say, hey, can we set ourselves up well here financially for 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road? And is there a move we can make now that helps us in that regard? And just balancing the short and medium term. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also share your thoughts over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Brian from Chandler over there says, I just hope Ishbia doesn't meddle and force another disaster acquisition like Beal. I understand that worry. I understand that fear. But Matt Ishbia went up to the podium, acknowledged the mistakes, acknowledged the failings of this organization over the last couple of years, and since that point has not shown a single instance, not a single one, not a single instance of getting involved and messing up what this team has done so far. So I understand the worry, but you've had months and months. You had an entire summer off season. You've had an entire full first half of the regular season. You haven't seen that. So I would understand the concern, but I wouldn't be as concerned about it. Now that this success has come here this early for this team. When we come back, he's getting an in-person interview today. Does it make him the favorite? That's next. The lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
I'm not here to bury Mike Tomlin, but the fact is, this absolutely is the right move. He did the right thing, and he fired himself. All good things come to an end. Going a decade without winning a single playoff game is not meeting the standard.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, everything can change fast. That's when the attorneys at Sweet James step in. They help you understand your rights, connect you with medical care, and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to. You don't pay anything unless your case is resolved successfully, and help is available 24 hours a day. If you've been injured, call Sweet James for a free case review. Hablamos Español. 800-900-0000. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results. Sometimes the great ones just keep getting greater. 7-time Grammy winner Gladys Knight has rolled out hit after hit over her illustrious career. Don't miss Gladys Knight, Saturday, March 7th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets on sale now at celebritytheater.com. Brought to you by Danny Zalisco Presents.
Right now at Mark Kia in Scottsdale, we have the vehicles you want at affordable prices.
For instance, the sought-after 2025 Kia Sportage is available for $27,999, and with $2,000 down at 3.99% financing for 72 months, drive out with a payment of $475 a month. We have affordable options on all of our most popular Kias.
Now available at Mark Kia at the Scottsdale Auto Show. The name to remember, Mark Kia, Mark Kia. Go to markkia.com for more details. Offer only through Kia Motors Finance. Offer expires February 2nd, 2026.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Meineke always treats your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke's certified technicians will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care. Schedule an appointment at Meineke.com. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
It's the grand opening of Fulton Homes' newest master plan community, Acclaim. This beautiful community features open spaces, multiple parks, and a large aquatic center. Visit FultonHomes.com. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build.
When is Kate getting here?
Should be any minute. She was on one of her Goodwill treasure hunts.
Treasure hunt? Oh, here she comes. And in an amazing new jacket.
Ready to rock, guys?
You definitely are.
Where'd you get that?
Don't you love it? I got it at Goodwill.
Kate got it at Goodwill. With hundreds of thousands of unique items arriving in-store daily, you can get it at Goodwill too. Find your convenient neighborhood location at goodwillaz.org. Nonprofit for good.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
The final real play of the game, the interception that you just talked about thrown by Beck. I mean, that was after an Indiana timeout. The coaching level, again, Indiana is taking a timeout to give coaching points. I'm giving credit to Signetti right now. What a job of out coaching or giving the right coaching points to his secondary, his corners. And I thought I was going to give Miami a chance to figure it out, but it was Indiana, that defense, that offense.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I know when you get to the Thursday edition of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060, and thanks for hanging out with us today, you expect a Schubert scale and you expect Evans risers, right? I mean, that's just during the football season, that's what you expect. I hate to disappoint. There will be no Schubert scale or Evans risers today. We've decided that with just 4 teams remaining, it feels a little ridiculous. We don't even have enough to fill out the top 5, let alone HMs. There's 4 teams left. So it just felt like we would be doing it just for the sake of doing it. So I think that's it. I think that's a wrap on the Schubert scale and Evans risers for.
We'll see in September.
I don't know about that. I think we'll probably do the Schubert scale and Evans risers maybe post free agency.
Post free agency, post draft.
Post draft. So there'll be 2 special feature editions of the Schubert scale and Evans risers. But then we'll see in September. It'll be a couple months off, a couple months break for the list. The Arizona Cardinals, speaking of the NFL, will have an interview today, an in-person interview. Anthony Campanelli, the Jags defensive coordinator, will have an in-person interview today. Both other candidates that the Cardinals attempted to get in-person interviews with, Robert Saleh and Jeff Hafley, before they could get to those in-person interviews, those guys took other gigs. Saleh going to Tennessee, Hafley ending up in Miami with the Dolphins. So this is the first, I believe, in-person interview that the Cardinals are having in this process. So who is he? Feels like a good time to deep dive into the candidate that is Anthony Campanelli because he's the first guy getting an in-person interview. This is a guy who was the linebackers coach at Michigan, ended up taking that same gig with the Dolphins in 2020, spent 4 years there, 2 with Flores, 2 under Mike McDaniel, 3 years as the DC with Josh Boyer as the DC. Then in 2023, spent his year under Vic Fangio. He gets hired as the Jags DC in 2025 and has an amazing turnaround. The Jags last season were first in rushing yards per game. They were tied for first in takeaways. They were one of the worst defenses in 2024. And he walks in their first year DC calling plays and flips them to being the best in takeaways. Remember, first 3 weeks of the season, they had 9 picks? And they were turning the ball over left and right.
Yeah, they jumped out to an early lead in the takeaways. They were causing 2 a game in the first 5 weeks.
Right.
It was insane.
Their average was 2 or 3 a game at the start of the season. And so Anthony Campanelli gets a lot of credit for what the Jags defense did this season. So that's who the Cardinals are interviewing today for their first in-person interview. Does this make him the favorite? Does the fact that he's the first person that's going to go to the building make him the favorite to land this gig? Well, I think technically yes, because none of the other coaches that they probably want to talk to, Chris Shula, Mike LaFleur, Clint Kubiak, they can't even bring those guys in for a second interview. Can't do it. Not allowed to talk to these coaches anymore for the remainder of the postseason until their teams are eliminated. So you can't talk to anybody on Seattle or LA until one of them lose over the weekend. That's an interesting conversation that maybe we should have tomorrow of who are you rooting for in the NFC Championship game solely from a Cardinals coaching search perspective. Write that down for tomorrow's show, Producer F. I'd love to get into that. Yeah, mark that down. File that one away for tomorrow. You can't talk to any of those guys. So Campanelli being the first person to get a second interview, the only person right now to get a second interview, right? They talked to Joe Brady, but I don't know if Joe Brady's flying to Tempe, flying to Glendale, taking a tour of the facilities. I don't know if he's meeting with the Cardinals. I know he talked to them. Just like we know there was an extensive conversation with John Harbaugh. We know they've talked to Matt Nagy and Arthur Smith. They've requested all of these interviews, but Campanelli's the first one to come here. So yes, it makes him the favorite because he's got a leg up on everybody else. Now, I don't think the Cardinals are going to immediately, unless Anthony Campanelli wows them today. And there are reasons to think he could wow them. We'll get to them in a second. But unless he wows them, I think they're going to take their time. We'll tie this back into what we said in the open, patience. Let's see what happens this weekend. Are you really in a rush to hire a coach today or tomorrow? Or can you wait till Monday to see who's eliminated? Which teams are going to the Super Bowl? Which teams' coaches all of a sudden became available for you to talk to in the beginning of next week? And then that round robin will begin. That battle royale will begin for you to try to get an interview in person with some of those guys. There's no rush, but it does make him the favorite. And I want to give you a pros and cons list because I would assume many of you yesterday when you woke up didn't know who Anthony Campanelli was. I don't know how much Jacksonville Jaguars football you watched this season. Don't know if you knew first-year DC, if he was a name that you had in front of your Rolodex when this coaching search kicked off. So how about we do a pros and cons list? What we like about Anthony Campanelli, what we don't like about Anthony Campanelli. What I love about Anthony Campanelli, we mentioned it yesterday, I love his demeanor. I love his attitude. There's a Hard Knocks clip that was going around social media yesterday. We mentioned it. It just sounded like a dude that would embrace every bit of the challenge that is coaching in the NFC West. I love that. I think that is a quality that the Arizona Cardinals need to seek out in their next coach. Somebody who gives off the appearance, the demeanor, the attitude of somebody who is going to embrace every single challenge that is put in front of this team. Because guess what? It is a challenge. And I could see, producer Evan, go with me here for a second. Tell me if you could see this as well. Could you see Anthony Campanelli getting hired as the Cardinals head coach and in his first press conference saying the words, "This is a challenge, and I took this because it is a challenge"? Just based on the Hard Knocks clip that you watched, I could see him going up there and saying, I understand it is a challenge to turn this franchise around. I understand what we're going up against in this division, and I embrace it. I love it. I want the challenge. That's why I'm here. You could see him doing that, right?
100%. And I know there's been a conversation about the Cardinals don't need a culture change. And I get it. Campanelli comes with a culture change.
He comes with an attitude change, I think. He comes with an embrace of the situation the Cardinals are in that I don't think we saw from Jonathan Gannon, right? That was one of the criticisms we had of him at the end. Didn't feel like he understood the magnitude of what was going on here. It felt like he was just coaching like it was the middle of the season despite them losing 7-8 games in a row. Campanelli, they lose one game, he might lose his mind in a post-game press conference. The demeanor matters because it shows an accountability for where the Cardinals are at. I love that about Anthony Campanelli. Again, it's just one clip. I'm sure a bunch of other coaches could check that box, but I saw something yesterday that helped me check that box. I love the job that he did turning the Jags around in one season. To go from one of the worst defenses to one of the best in one offseason, in 1 year. And oh, by the way, you may think this is a negative, and we'll get to it when we get to the cons. First time being a DC, first time calling plays, turns around a defense that fast. And I love his previous stops. I love that defensively, he's worked with Brian Flores and Vic Fangio. Brian Flores is going to get some head coaching interviews this offseason.
Certainly, and should.
Vic Fangio, teams trip over each other to try to get Vic Fangio to coach their defense.
I was going to, Vic Fangio is probably the best defensive coordinator. You would say him and Spags of my lifetime.
Flores is pretty good. Trying to think of other ones that would immediately jump to mind. Maybe a little bit. I'm a little bit older than you. Yeah. Rex Ryan, when he was in Baltimore, was just unbelievable. But yeah, Fangio on the short list of one of the best defensive coordinators of this generation. Anthony Campanelli worked a year under Vic Fangio, worked under Brian Flores, whose defensive staff is getting poached all over the place for other defensive staffs in the sport. That's good. I love all of those things about Anthony Campanelli. Let's talk about the cons, though. Only 1 year as a coordinator. It's a very quick jump. This is position coach, defensive coordinator, head coach in a 2-year span. That's a large jump. A lot of pressure that comes with that. A lot of inexperience that comes with that. He's also a relative unknown for the points that I just made. He's somebody that went from a positional coach to a DC, potentially to the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals in a flash. In a New York minute, he could potentially become a head coach. So that leads you to wonder, can he build out a staff? He's worked for a bunch of different people, but what is his Rolodex like? He's only been a DC for 1 year. Now, he put together that entire Jags coaching staff because Liam Cohen, offensive-minded guy, he put together that staff from everything that I'm reading. So, okay, that worked out pretty well. You feel pretty good about his ability to do it, but it is still an unknown. And he's a defensive-minded guy, so can they nail the offensive hire to make the offense work? Because I think the offense needs more attention than the defense. So he is a defensive-minded guy, so you worry about, can you nail the OC hire? Because the last defensive coordinator that was brought here as a head coach didn't get that part right, and I think it's the thing that doomed him. So those are the pros and cons of Anthony Campanelli, who's going to get a second interview for the Arizona Cardinals. 3 days ago, didn't think I was going to do this on the show. Now that I've done the work, done the research, and shout out to producer Evan for putting this stuff together for me this morning, this is not a guy that I think if he got hired, you'd be like, oh, Cardinals missed here. Bunch of reasons to like him.
I'm not sold on him, but I certainly feel way better this morning than I did 3 days ago.
Anthony Campanelli or Matt Nagy?
Anthony Campanelli.
Anthony Campanelli or Arthur Smith?
Anthony Campanelli.
Anthony Campanelli or Raheem Morris?
You get the gist.
You understand where Anthony Campanelli falls into this pecking order. Is he, you know what? He replaces Robert Saleh in the top 5, but he probably goes to the number 5 spot and everybody else gets moved up one for me, right? That's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. So this is a guy who's going to interview with the Cardinals. I believe it is today, his second interview, an in-person interview, the first known in-person interview that the Arizona Cardinals have had so far this cycle. That is one of the candidates for this gig. There you have it, Anthony Campanelli. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also watch us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on the KDUS AM 1060 app. And speaking of the KDUS AM 1060 app, you can listen over there for your chance to win 2 tickets to the MLB Players Trust Playmakers Classic at Warehouse 215, Wednesday, February 18th, celebrating 30 years of impact at the Playmakers Classic 2026. 3 hours of nonstop experiences and excitement, welcoming 400 playmakers, including 100 baseball players, for an unforgettable night of entertainment, connection, and giving back. They've got it all. Live performances, food and drinks, custom experiences and activations from fanatics, live broadcasts, behind-the-scenes access, whether you're a fan, a collector, foodie, or philanthropist. This milestone event is your chance to be a part of something legendary. And we've got your chance to win 2 tickets to go to the MLB Players Trust Playmakers Classic. You're listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app. Speaking of baseball, when we come back, is a Paul Goldschmidt reunion in the cards? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
ASU women's basketball continues right here on KDUS AM 1060. This Saturday, join the Lady Sun Devils as they hit the road to take on Cincinnati. Head coach Molly Miller and her team know they have the skills they need in order to score another Big 12 win on the road. Join Jeff Mott on the call live from the Buckeye State. It's ASU versus Cincinnati this Saturday. Pregame at 11:30 a.m. and tip-off at noon right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS app.
My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade 2026. Live at Chase Field, September 6th, 2026. With special guest, Jimmy Eat World. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit mychemicalromance.com.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed, all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
Try the Chicken Melt Trio at Port of Subs. Protein packed with bold sauces and built to crush cravings. Order now at portofsubs.com.
Slice fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
Come ring in the new year with us at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale.
Right now, you can receive 0.9% financing for up to 60 months on some of Mazda's most popular models, like the 2025 Mazda CX-5.
The name to remember? Mark Mazda, Mark Mazda.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Indiana does it. They complete the season, a miracle season. Give credit to a lot of people here. Kurt Signetti, you got to start with him. This isn't the normal route to become a national champion. And he doesn't go after 5-star recruits or 4-star recruits because he couldn't. Because 5 stars and 4 stars aren't going to Indiana. He's the kind of guy that goes after 2 stars. And by the time he's done coaching them up, they're 4 and 5 stars.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Welcome back into the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan here with you. We're wrapping up hour number 1 of the Thursday edition of the show. Producer Evan asked me a question today in the morning meeting. We were figuring out how we wanted to attack the Paul Goldschmidt update segment of the program. And producer Evan asked me, what's Paul Goldschmidt's market? And my response was, other than it being non-existent, what are you looking for here? Because that's unfortunately for Paul Goldschmidt where his market is at right now. It's very, very quiet for Paul Goldschmidt as a free agent.
For a guy who didn't have that bad of an offensive season.
He had one of the worst defensive seasons of his career.
If not the worst.
Did not hit right-handed pitching well. So at this stage of his career, at 38 years old, he is, I don't want to call him a defensive liability because I do think he can still play good defense. He is a platoon option for you to face left-handed pitching. That's it. That's all he provides. How many teams need a first baseman platoon that can crush left-handed pitching, or if they want to have a DH platoon and have him crush lefties? I don't know how many teams out there.
I feel like a lot.
I wonder if you actually went through all the teams, how many teams feel good in both spots?
5.
We don't have enough time to do it, but I wonder if it's more than you think. But let's talk about Paul Goldschmidt, because a reunion with the Arizona Diamondbacks has been one of the more popular ideas to be thrown out this offseason for this team. And there are so many reasons why this makes sense. I tried to list as many of them as I could. I think I got them all, but maybe there's one that I'm missing. He's not going to cost a lot. And for a Diamondbacks team that I don't think has a ton of resources available to them or left available to them, it would come on a relatively cheap deal. And let's be honest, if Ken Kendrick's going to stretch the budget a little bit, don't you feel like a Paul Goldschmidt reunion would be one of the excuses that you would maybe have to increase the budget a little bit? So he's not going to cost a lot. I think it's going to continue a theme. And I know producer Evan talked about this last Thursday when I was out, that the Diamondbacks are kind of trying to run in place. They're trying to buy time for their system to catch up to the big league roster. They're trying to field a competitive team, but not block the young players that they have in their system. Nolan Arenado feels like an example of this. They have some young players that could play third, but not really to the level that they need to stay relevant in the National League. So we're going to go trade for Nolan Arenado. Paul Goldschmidt kind of continues that theme of trying to run in place, right? To run on the treadmill, to keep things status quo, to buy time for the rest of the system to catch up. So that's another reason why this makes sense. This dude crushed lefties last year. A 981 OPS against lefties. That's insanity. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to repeat a 981 OPS. Little unfair to put that expectation on a 38-year-old.
Doesn't it feel like Albert Pujols, though? Remember when Albert Pujols went back to the Cardinals and just mashed left-handed pitching?
Just crushed lefties.
Yeah.
So you would have him as the right side of your platoon. He can help with the development of Tyler Locklear, continue to help Pavin Smith. It allows Locklear to rehab from his surgery. He can probably go back to Reno right away and work down there. And I think Goldschmidt, I mean, just from a knowledge perspective, is going to help the young players on this team, going to help somebody like a Pavin Smith, going to help somebody like an Adrian Del Castillo, a Tyler Locklear. So just the knowledge that will be in the clubhouse would be valuable. It's also a zero risk move. Like, if it doesn't work out, okay, what did it cost you? A 1-year deal to bring back somebody that this franchise, this organization, this fan base loves?
Yeah, and okay, guess what? If it doesn't work out, guess how you can sell this to the fans?
It's Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt is back, and he's riding off to the sunset as an Arizona Cardinal as an Arizona Diamondback where he belongs.
Now, that's something I would be interested in seeing. 38-year-old Paul Goldschmidt trying to play for the Cardinals. That's got a lot of risk associated with it.
Now I got a little tripped up because he was a Cardinal.
St. Louis, not Arizona. But you want to talk about a risky move. The Cardinals bringing in Paul Goldschmidt, very risky. The Diamondbacks doing it, zero risk. Again, he's not going to play every day. So if he struggles, it's not going to be in your face all the time, right? How many lefties do you face every week? One, maybe two?
One, maybe two.
Sometimes you'll go a week or two without seeing a lefty. So if he struggles, it's not going to be in your face constantly, right? If Corbin Carroll struggles, that's in your face. 2 years ago when Corbin Carroll struggled, every single day. You watched every one of those at-bats and you grimaced. You're like,
they were hard to watch.
Hard to watch. With Paul Goldschmidt, yeah, they might be hard to watch, but it may be days between you seeing Paul Goldschmidt in the lineup every single day. So that's the other part of it. There's zero risk. If it doesn't work out, it's not going to be in your face, constant rubbing your nose and how bad of a decision it was. And let's face it, it's a good vibes move. The vibes of bringing Paul Goldschmidt back would just, for the fan base, it would send everybody through the roof. I don't want to speak for the fan base, but bringing Paul Goldschmidt back, I think, puts a smile on everybody's face. It puts a smile on my face. And he's 38. It's not going to be the player that he was. But can he provide value to this team? Absolutely. And I think the longer this drags on, the more likely it becomes that a reunion is likely. Would you not agree? The longer this goes, the more likely it is that he can return home. The longer
there's no interest in him.
From somewhere else?
It just becomes, well, I don't know, return home, right?
Right.
From his party, from the Diamondbacks of, hey, if we can get him on a team favorable deal.
What's it going to cost?
What's my risk?
$5 million, $8 million?
If that. Like, in all honesty, $5 million. You're going to get Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt for $10 million collective this year.
What did the Yankees pay Goldy last year? Do you know that off the top of your head, or can you look it up for me?
Yeah.
Because they brought him in, and he had the similar role for the Yankees that I envisioned that the Diamondbacks would use him for. But I want to know what they paid him, because his defense wasn't great last year.
1 year, $12.5 million.
Okay, so he's a year older. He's not going to get 12.5.
No, I think that's crazy. We can look at what Spotrac predicts.
Is he worth half it? Probably 1 year, 6?
Yeah, I think that's fair. And
the Diamondbacks, Ken Kendrick can find the $6 million to bring Paul Goldschmidt back. Do you know how many Goldy t-shirts they'll sell if they bring him back? They'll make up for the $6 million.
They'll make it in 20 minutes.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
The problem is it's not a new player, so like a lot of people have Goldy jerseys.
Yeah, but they don't have the new City Connect.
That's so
memorabilia.
true.
So that's where you make the big bucks.
That's true.
So that's
people think it'll be a 1 year, $5 million.
Okay, so I said 6, 5. Yeah, I just this feels like it's a no-brainer, and it feels like by the time we get to spring training, Paul Goldschmidt will be back. Hour number 1, the program in the books. When we come back, we kick off hour number 2, a little buy or sell. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Florence and the Machine presents the Everybody Scream Tour. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, Saturday, May 9th. The incomparable Florence and the Machine returns. With special guest, Mannequin Pussy. On sale now at livenation.com. The new album, Everybody Scream, available now.
Everybody Scream. To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
Listen up, truck buyers. This is your warning before you overpay. If you're shopping lifted trucks online, you better know this. Most prices you see are not real. They leave out the lift, the wheels, the tires, the tint, then crush you with tens of thousands in add-ons when you show up. Not at Unique Trucks on East McDowell Road. We do business different. Go to uniquetrucks.com because the price you see there is the final price. Lifts included, tint included, tires, wheels, accessories, all included. No hidden fees, period. Find a comparable truck anywhere in the valley, we'll beat the price guaranteed. We work with every bank and credit union. Pay top dollar for your trade and accept all credit. Here's how easy it is. Call 888-8-LIFTED. Make your best deal right now on the phone, and we'll deliver the truck to your door anywhere in the Southwest. Test drive it in your neighborhood. No obligation. Stop playing games. Shop UniqueTrucks.com. Call 1-888-8-LIFTED. That's Unique Trucks on East McDowell Road or online all the time at UniqueTrucks.com. The correct way of doing business. On approved credit plus tax, title, license, and $4.99 doc fee.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where we're all about you, your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. We'll take total care of you. First, come browse all the beautiful settings in our cases. Take your time and try on as many as you want. You'll know when you put your ring on. Your heart will skip a beat. Now, onto your center stone. We can look at different diamond shapes and sizes until we find the perfect match. Come visit us in store, because a friend wants you to get exactly what you want. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Superstar Car Wash has extended our best deal of the year. Lock in 30% off for 12 months on a Super Protect Unlimited membership. Splurge elsewhere, save here, and treat your wealth before it's gone. Visit our website for details.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan with you here on the show. It's the top of hour number 2, which means it is time for a little buy or sell, the hottest takes in the valley. Producer Evan has them for us. What do we got today?
Did we lose your camera?
Oh, we did lose my camera. All right, let me work on that for you.
You want me to start giving them to you?
I mean, yeah, you're probably going to have to repeat them because I'm not a great multitasker, but we can give it a shot here.
All right, we'll start with the Arizona Cardinals.
Am I back now?
You're back.
Let's go. We're back.
Let's get you in here.
I don't know what happened. I just looked over and I was gone.
Yeah.
This computer's been acting up this week.
It has been.
It's been a struggle.
Watching Anthony Campanelli in Hard Knocks shows that JG just didn't have the demeanor to coach in the NFC West.
Oh, that's unfair. This is unfair. I'm going to sell this take because I think it's unfair to JG.
I don't think so.
I don't know if when JG got here, he needed to have the demeanor that we saw from Anthony Campanelli. I think now, with 3 years having passed and the Cardinals being in the situation that they're in, a demeanor like Anthony Campanelli's is now required for the Cardinals to get this back on track. And I'm really interested. Is that demeanor going to play with Monty and Michael Bidwell? Are they going to?
I don't know if it'll play upstairs.
Right. That's a real
concern.
It's a real question. I love it. I think the players would love it. Is Michael Bidwell going to love that type of personality being in the building?
Do you know what plays upstairs?
Wins. Yeah, wins play upstairs.
So if you win,
yeah.
If you lose and have that mentality, it's hard to sell.
Well, it's a little different, but this is Mike McDaniel in Miami.
Yeah.
Right? Like his demeanor.
He's a strange guy.
It's different, strange, awkward, weird. They were winning at first. All is forgiven. Who cares? Right?
Who cares?
If you're winning football games, you can kind of do whatever you want.
But when you're losing and you're a little strange, guess what?
We are going to have some of those tough conversations. Right? You find yourself on the outside.
And quicker than most.
We went bust up. Right. Doesn't go your way.
That sound is...
Wait, this one? We went bust up. What was that from? I don't even know.
I have no idea.
I don't even know.
The longer the offseason goes on, the less confident you are in the D-backs' ability to compete in 2026.
The longer the offseason goes on, the less confident. No, I'll sell this thing. The Dodgers, don't hit the sounder for this. The Dodgers are going to win the NL West. Breaking news. The Dodgers are going to win the National League West.
I would have guessed.
What if we just took a shot? Yeah. I really, you know what?
Both feet on the ground, stand by what I said.
Dodgers win the NL West. The Brewers win the Central. Although they did trade Freddie Peralta last night. But I still think they win the Central. The Mets win the East.
Correct.
You got 3 wild card spots. Yeah. I think one of the Braves.
Atlanta.
One of the Braves or Atlanta. I don't think both.
One of the Braves or Atlanta?
Sorry, one of the Braves or Phillies wins.
The Phillies are out, so the Braves are in.
Okay. So you got 2 more spots.
Yep.
So the Diamondbacks are competing with
Padres.
The Padres and maybe the Giants and whoever is second fiddle in the
and are the Cubs going to drop off that much?
Are the Reds really going to return to the playoffs?
No.
So
that's one of the worst playoff teams I've ever seen.
Right. So you're in that mix, right? That's all we asked for.
Forgot the Reds were in.
Can you be in that mix? And I think the Diamondbacks are in that mix.
D-backs would have gave a much better fight.
I don't know who's closing games for them, and that is still a worry of mine, that they have to find a way to finish games this year. But I guess we'll get there when we get there.
I got to be honest with you. There was a second there, like maybe 2 innings into the Dodgers-Reds. Like Hunter Green was pitching pretty well. I'm like,
oh, upset. Here we go.
And then it
didn't last.
It
did not last.
The Cardinals will end up drafting a quarterback in next year's draft.
I will buy this. Are you ready for I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I think it's an opinion that just isn't shared very often. I do know some other people who have it because they've convinced me to have it. If you don't have a franchise quarterback,
I would take one every year in day 2 or day 3.
Right. I'm throwing darts at the dartboard every single year. If I don't have my guy,
and I just want to be clear, it's not even franchise. Like if I don't have a top 3 guy, so like Burrow,
Allen, Mahomes,
and even Burrow, like just with the healthy thing, like I don't even know if he's in that conversation.
Right. Like if I'm Buffalo, I need to use every draft pick I have to support my roster.
Yeah, like if I have, trying to give you an example, like the Eagles with Hurts, like I would still be drafting quarterback. Or the Chargers with Herbert, like I would still be drafting quarterbacks. You need to be in such an upper echelon, like Cowboys, Prescott. I'd be taking one every year.
Yeah, right. I think, if I've got a quarterback on the back nine, I'm starting to take a quarterback, like every single year.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be an unpopular opinion. If I'm Seattle, I'm starting to maybe think about.
Yeah, 100%. I'm taking one.
I'm taking one. Yeah, everybody should take one. Now, don't invest your premium draft capital every year.
But like
one.
Detroit this year should be taking a quarterback in the 4th, 5th round.
And they did. They took Hendon Hooker, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
They've done it, right? So, yeah, the Cardinals should take a quarterback, and I think they will take a quarterback in this class. Because I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a 2-veteran QB room that are going to battle it out to be the starter. It's going to be Brissett and somebody else, whether that's Malik Willis, whether it's somebody they trade for, whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo, whether it's somebody's going to be competing.
Green Bay, another team, should be taking a quarterback.
Brissett's going to be competing with somebody for that gig, and then you're going to take somebody maybe late day 2, early day 3. That's a developmental quarterback that fits into that room.
Almost like, and it's a weird team to follow. Obviously, they brought in Harbaugh, but almost exactly what the Giants did last year, right? You bring in Winston, you bring in Russ, and then I still drafted my guy.
Yeah, and I don't think you need to copy them to a T by trading back into the first round and taking Jackson Dart, because I don't know if there's a quarterback worth doing that in the first round. But yeah, I think the Giants model is, I think, one to follow.
Yeah, which is crazy to say. Jesse Minter will be the next coach of the Ravens.
Did you see?
He has withdrawn his name from the Cleveland job.
Shout out to, I think, one of the best beat reporters for any singular market, Mary Kay Cabot, who does a great job covering things in Cleveland. She's the one that originally reported this, that Jesse Minter told the Browns, thanks, but no thanks. They had an interview all lined up, ready to go. Jesse Minter said, I'm good. I'm all right. Now, at least the Cardinals haven't had that happen to them yet.
Kind of did.
Well, Harbaugh, that doesn't count. I'm sorry, that doesn't count.
Saleh.
No, they had an in-person interview scheduled with Saleh. He took another job. Jesse Minter hasn't signed someplace else to be the head coach. He's literally going to go interview other places and not interview with the Browns. That's a little different. Ravens? Man, Jesse Minter in Buffalo. If I didn't think they were going to go with an offensive-minded guy, Jesse Minter would make a ton of sense in Buffalo. Jesse Minter also makes some sense in Pittsburgh. He might go to Baltimore. Yeah.
I could see him in Baltimore. So you're buying it?
I'll buy, yeah.
Wow.
Saleh was one of my top candidates for Baltimore. They're just going to pivot and go to the other hot DC name.
Yeah, they don't feel like an organization that's going to go young offensive mind, do they?
Who, Baltimore?
Yeah.
They should.
They won't.
They should have just hired Mike McDaniel, for being honest.
Probably. Who knows? Maybe they'll interview Joe Brady.
Who, the Ravens?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could.
I wouldn't love that.
Joe Brady in Baltimore?
Yeah.
I could wrap my mind around it because I'm going to say something. Just please. It's not that far of a drop-off from Josh Allen to Lamar Jackson.
No.
We talked yesterday about offensive coordinators and maybe chasing a false promise for the Cardinals because the quarterback situation here stinks to high heavens. I would feel more comfortable going and getting Joe Brady to be my head coach if I have Lamar Jackson as my quarterback.
And I just want to say this. I know this is he shouldn't lose his job, but the Bengals, they should just bring in Joe Brady to be the offensive coordinator.
They will not do that. Joe Brady should just go be the head coach, but that's
he can
also
sit
not
there. He's got his guys back. They would score 50 points a game.
They would be really good. It still would not fix their
No. They would give up 45, 50 points a game.
They would win every game like it was an old school Texas Tech, Oklahoma Big 12 matchup on Saturday night college football.
Those were the
48-45.
Those were the best.
That's what you would have if Joe Brady was the head coach of the Bengals.
Jarrett Stidham will play a one-score game
Please.
in the AFC Championship game.
Please, Stiddy.
Stiddy.
He will play a one-score game? Yeah, because the defense is going to keep them in a one-score game. That's not really going to be because of Jarrett Stidham. I mean, the Houston Texans were...
They did give up 30 points to Buffalo.
The Houston Texans were in a game into the second half in which their quarterback... I lost track of how many turnovers he committed. The Buffalo Bills got to overtime in a game in which their quarterback was giving away the football like it was Halloween candy. As long as Jarrett Stidham doesn't turn the ball over with that defense, they're going to be in the game late.
That's the problem. Would you like to see Jarrett Stidham?
He hasn't played in a game in 2 seasons.
Yeah, but we can still look at his turnover stats.
I'm watching. I went to the gym yesterday, and I'm watching. I think it was.
By the way, I love the NFL Network had one of his only career starts on last night.
I'm watching. I was either NFL Live or PTI. I was watching some ESPN show, and somebody was asking, "Can practice, make up for the lack of in-game reps?" And I'm like, "Who's asking this question right now? This is absurd. He hasn't played in a game in 2 seasons. No, practice cannot make up for not playing in a game."
In 4 starts, Stidham has 4 career interceptions.
I saw it. I saw the Chiron, and I'm like, "What type of segment is this?" Of course not. Of course he's going to be rusty. Of course the game plan's going to be he's going to throw the ball 17 times. Over under 20 and a half passing attempts for Jarrett Stidham.
I will tell you, in the 2 games he started in Denver in 23, only turned the ball over once. He did get a win. Completed 60% of his passes. I know that's a big threshold for you.
For me, that's massive. You got to be able to complete your passes. Listen, all the quarterbacks playing this weekend in conference championship completed over 60% of their passes.
Career?
No, just this season.
I was going to say Stidham's career is 59.4.
Hey, don't worry about his career. This season doesn't have an attempt.
If he's 0 for 1, though,
yeah, you're going to text me right away over the weekend.
That's all I got.
I just kind of realized that I have to use points this week to make up a 1-point deficit, potentially taking Jarrett Stidham.
And I already took Seattle.
You're going to take New England. Your 2 picks, your 2-point play is New England, and your 3-point play is Seattle.
Yes, I took Seattle minus the 2.5. I got to tell you, I don't know if it will be New England.
Oh, you know what I might do? This is the accusations that are going to be leveled against me.
I can't wait because I tell you,
if you take New England as your 2-point play, I may take Seattle as my 2-point play and make New England my 3-point play, and that means the worst thing that could happen is we tie. You can't gain any ground on me, and it's 1 point going into the last pick.
That's terrible.
Now that is being cowardly, but I might do it. You got to pull out all the stops when you're down a point.
But I also get to go first. Get to go second.
You get to choose. It's always a choice.
But you already have my 3-point
I already have your 3-point play, and I know you have to pick something.
I thought for sure you were going to take the under in Patriots Broncos.
You don't know what I'm going to do.
I guess I
haven't made
I will.
You
tomorrow.
will tomorrow, 12:45. But right now you don't. I know you have to pick. I mean, maybe you could also take the total in the Seattle game.
Who knows?
But you're gonna no. You got to take something in either game. That's our rule. So something has to come out of New England, Denver. So it's just a question of what it is. All right, another fantastic edition of Buy or Sell.
I was going to say, because if I could just take the over in Seattle,
that may be
LA, I may just do both.
You may just lock that in right now. Well, we'll think about it. We'll come up with what the final.
No, I think you have to take something in either game.
Something in either game, I think, is fair. When we come back, he's the original. Do they need to hire him, or can they find their own? I'll explain next. The lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
NAU men's basketball continues right here on KDUS AM 1060. This Saturday night, join the Lumberjacks as they square off against Northern Colorado. Join head coach Shane Burkhardt and his team as they get ready to defend home court against the Bears. Mitch Stroman will have the call live. It's NAU versus Northern Colorado this Saturday night. Pregame at 5:30 p.m. and tip-off at 6 right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and the KDUS app.
They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing.
The People's Open is back. See the PGA Tour's best. Tee it up at the 2026 WM Phoenix Open, February 2nd through the 8th at TPC Scottsdale. Get tournament and ticket info at WMPhoenixOpen.com.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, Friday, March 6th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails. Live in Glendale. Peel It Back Tour 2026.
Meineke's highly skilled and certified technicians always treat your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care using the best state-of-the-art equipment. You can always depend on Meineke to do the job right and get you back on the road in no time. Save time and schedule an appointment now. Visit Meineke.com today. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
The garage door springs that come standard with most homes don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello at A1 Garage Door Service. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty. That's right. Fix them once and you're covered for life. Don't risk your family's safety or your peace of mind. Let A1 replace your springs before they become a problem. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one.
A1 from day one.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Dodgers have become the poster children for everything people claim is wrong with baseball. A roster pushing past $400 million naturally draws criticism. And on the surface, it's not a great look for competitive balance. But focusing solely on the Dodgers misses the bigger problem. LA has forced other big market teams like the Mets, Yankees, and Phillies to raise their spending and stop pretending frugality equals strategy. It's good for the sport. More stars, better rosters, more meaningful matchups. The issue is not enough teams trying to win. Marlins, White Sox, Pirates, A's spent years operating on the margins, prioritizing profit over competitiveness. This is where the gap becomes alarming. When half the league refuses to invest, disparity is inevitable. So let's not put the burden of scrutiny on one franchise. Blame the organizations content with scraping by for the sake of profit. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
What goes better with a meal? Bacon. At Heartland Steakco, they take their bacon seriously. From their double smoked hickory to their honey jalapeno, which brings sweet and spicy together for the perfect combination, to their all new bacon flavors like whiskey peppercorn with its smoky richness, to their applewood double smoked bacon that's smoked over real applewood chips, to their all new maple bourbon bacon, which brings out the subtle notes of maple and bourbon for a rich taste. Heartland Steakco has your bacon and USDA Midwestern beef ready to ship and delivered straight to your door. Don't wait. Order today for yourself, a friend, or anyone who loves that true Midwest taste. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And right now, when you spend $199.99 or more, you'll get free shipping plus 2 pounds of bacon with promo code BACON. Go and get your bacon from heartlandsteakco.com. That's heartlandsteakco.com, promo code BACON. Taste the Heartland difference.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
Indiana is not cheating. Lining up and punching the other guy in the face for 60 minutes, not against the rules. I challenge any of you social media whistleblowers to tell Kurt Signetti to his face that he is a cheater.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan, hanging out with you today on the program. The Arizona Cardinals coaching search continues to roll on, and a name that I haven't seen that the Cardinals have asked for an interview for, but somebody that they should want to talk to, and hopefully they're either in the process of reaching out to or they've at least already reached out to. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. If somebody doesn't want to talk to you, there's nothing that the Cardinals can do currently to change that narrative, but you still need to ask and get rejected, right? Even though it's painful, even though that rejection hurts, you still got to ask. And one of the people I think they should talk to is Sean McDermott. They should see if Sean McDermott will sit down with them about their opening. Because Sean McDermott and the job that he did in Buffalo should be the North Star for the Arizona Cardinals. Whether it's Sean McDermott or their version of Sean McDermott, that is what the Cardinals should be striving for this season. Sean McDermott just let go by the Buffalo Bills, 6 straight years of winning at least one playoff game, but failing to go to the Super Bowl. 4 teams have done that in the history of the sport, winning a playoff game in 6 consecutive seasons. The 3 of the franchises won a Super Bowl in those 6 years. The Bills, the only team that didn't do it. Just the epitome of consistency of getting to the playoffs, getting a playoff win, just not being able to get over that final mountain. Sean McDermott turned the Buffalo Bills into a stable winner. Can you run through for me, Producer Evan, because I know you have the numbers up. Can you run through for me what Sean McDermott did in his tenure, dating all the way back to 2017 with the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, so in his first year in 2017, that is the last year that Tyrod Taylor is the starter. And they go 9-7. Remember, they get in on that crazy Tyler Boyd play. They play the famous them in Jacksonville game and lose in the wild card round, but make the playoffs in his first year in 17. In 18, it's Allen's rookie year. They take a step back. They go 6-10. Do not make the playoffs. And then you get the Allen run starting in 2019. They go 10-6, lose the wild card. The next year in 2020, 13-3, they go to the conference championship and lose to Kansas City. Sorry. And then next year, 11-6, lost in the divisional. That's the 13 seconds game. Again, 13-3, again, lost in the divisional. I believe that is to Cincinnati in 22. 23, 11-6, lost in the divisional. And last year, 13-4, lost in the conference championship. This year, 12-5, lost in the divisional.
So that run starts, and it's all those years of winning, all those years of double-digit wins, division titles, playoff victories. It had become the standard there in Buffalo. We've got Josh Allen. We've got Sean McDermott. We win double-digit games. We win the AFC East. We win a playoff game. We're in the mix to go to the Super Bowl. But it wasn't always like that in Buffalo. What were the 5 years before? Just the 5 years before in Buffalo.
Yeah, starting back at, let's call it 2012.
Rex Ryan's still there.
So actually that is still Gailey.
Okay.
And that's his last year. So he goes 6-10. They make the fire. Then they go to Doug Marrone. He goes 6-10 and 9-7. They don't make the playoffs either year. He's out. Then they go Rex Ryan 8-8 and then 7-9. He's out in those 2 years. And then they go to Doug McDermott.
A lifeless franchise. Sean McDermott. Doug McDermott's the head coach of Creighton. That's okay.
Sorry, Sean McDermott. I was thinking Doug Marrone.
Yeah, and then you just turned it into the Creighton head basketball coach. They were toiling away as one of the worst franchises in the NFL, right? The playoff drought, not having a winning season, just a mess, complete mess. Sean McDermott gets there and he fixes it, turns it around, creates a new standard, creates a new floor. You can question what the ceiling is for Sean McDermott as a head coach. You can question if he will ever win a Super Bowl. What you can't question is the floor that he brings in as a head coach. That's why he is the North Star for the Arizona Cardinals. Whether they get him, the original, the OG, or they find their own Sean McDermott, that is what you are looking for. You are looking for the floor raiser right now. You are looking for somebody to come in, clean up the mess of the last 6+ years. We can just look at the last 2 coaches. 6+ years and get this franchise back on track. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some work. It took McDermott into year 3, getting Josh Allen to have his full fingerprints on this roster and for that run to start. Made that surprise playoff run in year 1. They took a step back and then they were off to the races in Allen's second year. So think about bringing in a Sean McDermott type to this team right now. Year one, maybe you play above the expectation. You take a step back as you get your quarterback in here, and then you're off to the races and you go on a similar run where you raise the floor of your organization. That's the goal. That's what you should be looking for. Now, I don't think it needs to be Sean McDermott. I don't think Sean McDermott's going to take the Arizona Cardinals gig. So I think that's why you need to find your own Sean McDermott. And you're maybe better off finding a younger, better version of Sean McDermott. But that's what you're looking for. The floor raiser. Somebody who's going to take the Cardinals from having 2 3-win seasons over the last 2 years, or 2 of the last 3 seasons, having 3 wins or fewer, and taking you to a place where the floor now becomes, hey, we're in the mix every single year. There's work to get there, but you need somebody who can do what Sean McDermott did for Buffalo. Because Buffalo, when he got there, was a mess. An absolute mess. Couldn't win, couldn't make the postseason, didn't have an answer at quarterback, didn't have a vision, didn't have a future. Sound familiar? Bad ownership, play in a tough division, because that was still Brady in New England. So, tough division, don't have an answer at quarterback, tough ownership to work for, don't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. Sean McDermott found the light and brought this team to a place where they were every single year a Super Bowl contender. They never got there. That's the reason why he's available. And so I would sit with him if he would be interested in talking to me, just to pick his brain. Because he did something in Buffalo that I don't want to say shouldn't be possible, but for a long time they didn't think was possible up there. So I want to pick that dude's brain to see if I can find those traits in somebody else, whether it's McDermott or it's a different version of McDermott. That's the North Star. That's what should be guiding this team. Find your Sean McDermott. And if 8+ years down the road, we're complaining about the Cardinals having a great coach and a quarterback answer, and they're not able to get over the hump, and they can't make the Super Bowl, we'll trade these times for those times. We'll trade what we're dealing with right now for what Buffalo has gone through for the last 7 seasons. I'd make that trade in a heartbeat. Find your Sean McDermott. And I don't think I would even hire Sean. But I would find somebody like him. I would find somebody who can have that type of impact, and maybe it's Anthony Campanelli. Maybe it's Clint Kubiak. Maybe it's Mike LaFleur. Maybe it's Chris Shula. Maybe it's Jesse Minter. He's a defensive-minded guy. He was a defensive coordinator in Carolina. They bring him up there to Buffalo. The defense is the thing that may have done him in up there. But he rebuilt the culture, and he set a new standard. The Cardinals need somebody that's going to come in here and build that new standard. The North Star for the Cardinals, I'm going to repeat it one more time. Find your Sean McDermott. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also hang out with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Live streams going on over there. We've also got you on the KDUS AM 1060 app, where you've got a chance to win 2 tickets to the MLB Players Trust Playmakers Classic at Warehouse 215, Wednesday, February 18th. They're going to have it all. Food and drink, live performances, live broadcasts, behind-the-scenes access. Fanatics is going to be there doing some custom experiences and activations. It's going to be a place to be, going to be a big party. We've got your chance to win 2 tickets to the MLB Players Trust Playmakers Classic, Wednesday, February 18th, for listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app. When we come back, the cycle, it continues to move. What do the betting markets have to say about the Cardinals opening? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your desert destination for sports here in the Valley.
Not surprised that the Cardinals aren't in. They fired their head coach. Kyler Murray's probably on his way out. It is what they like to call Black Monday. I'm kind of surprised by the Raheem Morris one in Atlanta. It's only been how long? Year? 2 years. So maybe that one. Pete Carroll gone. I told you from the jump when they hired Pete Carroll, I didn't like the hire. I think he's past his due. Let him go after year 1. You might as well have kept the guy you had before and saved a bunch of money.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060. Life can change in an instant. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, everything can feel overwhelming. The pain, the stress, and the uncertainty of what comes next. You don't have to go through it alone. The attorneys at Sweet James understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact an accident can have. They're here to help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to under the law. When you call Sweet James, you're connecting with a team of attorneys experienced in handling serious injury cases. Their work is driven by preparation, advocacy, and a genuine commitment to helping clients seek accountability and justice. Every case is different, and outcomes depend on the specific facts involved. If you've been injured in an accident, call the attorneys at Sweet James for your free case review. They handle everything for you so you can focus on healing. That's the Sweet James advantage. Help available 24/7. If you've been injured, call Sweet James for a free case review. Hablamos Español. 800-9000000. 800-900-0000. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
It's frustrating when people intervene on you, but they have problems of their own. It's like when someone sends you a text, but the text comes from their email address. I hate this. Your name at iCloud, they FaceTime you from their email address? Are you calling on a child's iPad?
Emmy-winning comedian John Mulaney announces his new tour, Mr. Whatever. Celebrity Theater, Friday, March 6th. Tickets on sale now at etix.com.
Hey, it's Pat. Does your brain ever seize up when you have a lot of choices in front of you? Mine does. At restaurants, the mall, ice cream, decision paralysis. Weird thing is, I have zero issues picking out a Toyota. There isn't a bad choice in the bunch. It's easy. Not like other things. I mean, somebody gave me a gift card to an online store. I've been sitting in front of the computer for 3 days trying to figure out what to buy. Oh, maybe ice cream.
Right now, get low 1.99% for 60 months on remaining 2025 Tacoma SR and SR5 models. Or get 4.99% APR financing for 60 months on best-selling Toyotas like Camry, Corolla, and Grand Highlander. Or get a great lease deal on any new Toyota. See your Valley Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. 4.99% financing with $1,887 per thousand borrowed for 60 months on 2026 Camry and Corolla. 1.99% financing with $1,752 per thousand borrowed for 60 months on 2025 Tacoma SR and SR5 only. Zero down payment if you qualify. Offers end 2/2/26. See dealer for details.
Fridays at 5, I'm out exploring. From hiking up Camelback to skiing at Snowbowl, the adventures never stop with AAA. It's membership that travels with me, whether behind the wheel or a passenger. In my ride, my buddies, or a rental. AAA's got 24/7 expert help with tows, battery help, and more. Plus, branch services like free passport photos and trip planning. Membership gives you all this and more for less than $6 a month. And I can add loved ones for half off. Call or visit your local branch today. AAA, your membership to go.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan, hanging out with you today. Thanks for hanging out with us. I always like to check in on the betting markets on these head coaching openings to just see where the popular money is going. And so, producer Evan, I have in front of me, these are odds courtesy of Bet Online because they're the only place that I've been able to catch the odds to be the next Arizona Cardinals head coach. And this is from a couple of days ago, from 2 days ago. I have a list of 9 names in front of me. I don't think you've seen this list. So do you want to take a guess? Because there's 9 names. We know the Cardinals have had 15 interviews.
So there's 9 names on the list.
9 names on the list.
And who do I think starts that list?
Well, I mean, you can go in whatever order you want.
Okay, I think Vance Joseph.
Wow. Great job by you. Vance Joseph, the favorite to land the head coach gig for the Arizona Cardinals. Minus 150 are the odds.
Okay. I think Clint Kubiak is on the list.
Clint Kubiak, number 3 at plus 400 to be the next Arizona Cardinals head coach.
Okay. I think Anthony Campanelli is on the list.
Anthony Campanelli not on this list. Now, again, this was done 2 days ago, so I wonder if we had a refresh to this list, if Campanelli would be on there. I can try to find it while you're guessing.
Is Joe Brady on the list?
Joe Brady was on the list. I got to go back to that tab. Hold on. Joe Brady, 25-1.
Okay. Is Matt Nagy on the list?
Matt Nagy just in front of Joe Brady, 12-1. So Joe Brady was 9 at 25-1, and then Matt Nagy is 8 at 12-1.
Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith plus 900, right smack dab in the middle, 5th on the list.
Matt Burke.
Matt Burke not on the list.
Chris Shula.
Chris Shula, 10-1, right after Arthur Smith, 6th on the list.
No, Anthony Weaver does not. He got a job, correct?
Anthony Weaver looks like he's going to be the Giants DC. Nothing's confirmed.
But not on the list.
Not on the list.
Okay. Thomas Brown.
Not on the list.
Not on the list. How many names have I got?
So you've got Vance Joseph,
Yep.
Clint Kubiak, Arthur Smith, Matt Nagy, and Joe Brady. You got 5 of the 9.
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris, not on the list.
What?
Yeah, not on the list.
Number 1.
No, number 4. Number 1 is Vance Joseph.
And the last name that I have not guessed.
Yes.
Is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
interviewed yesterday. We interviewed today for another gig, not the Cardinals gig. Interviewed for another gig.
Interviewed today for another gig.
He did. Interviewed today for another gig.
What gig?
Very familiar with this gig, to be honest. Don't know why they needed to interview him.
Oh, is this? Wait, he's very familiar with this gig?
With the gig that he interviewed for today. Yes.
Oh gosh, I have no idea.
Brian Dable.
Oh, with the Bills job. Yeah.
Number 4 on this list.
I can't believe he's 4th. I can't even.
Yeah, they've got 2 names in the top 4 that the Cardinals haven't even been interviewed. And just a word of caution, and that's kind of the reason why I wanted to bring this list up. This doesn't mean anything. Vance Joseph is not the favorite because somebody at BetOnline or any of these other places knows something that we all don't. This is just where the popular money is because of all of the reports out there talking about Vance Joseph being a top candidate. Now, the McDermott and the Brian Dable, I think that's them trying to steal your money. Like, I think that's them putting popular names at the top of the list, and you're like, ooh, plus 225 on Sean McDermott. I'll use my 3-point play on Sean McDermott to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
I think that'd be a great 3-point play.
A great use of my 3 points.
I would let you do that this week.
You would let me use my 3 points if I wanted to say that Sean McDermott is the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes.
I will decline your offer to use my 3 points on that.
But that is on the table.
Just
you have until tomorrow.
Just McDermott, or
I'll let you take Dable as well.
Just Dable and McDermott?
Yes.
I can't take Vance Joseph?
No, cannot take Vance Joseph.
Can I use my 2-point play on Vance Joseph?
Sure.
So I can use my 2-point play on Vance Joseph, my 3-point play for McDermott and Dable. I may do this. I'm going to think about it. I mean, I'm only down a point. I don't have to get this creative. I can just.
And then it is going to drag out. Like if it comes down to 1 point, like we're at now, we're going to be waiting till a Cardinals hire a head coach to deem who wins.
I just in my head decided on a strategy for tomorrow that you're not ready for.
Take both unders.
You are not ready for what I'm going to do.
Maybe I'll just kneel down.
I mean, it would just be so cowardly of you to do, but it would actually help me.
How would it help you?
When you see what I'm going to do, it would help you. You're going to help me if you do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anymore. I am going to do something tomorrow.
By the way, 12:45. Give us a call. 480-864-1060.
Yeah, because we
play
need
against us.
We need somebody to play against us. You were almost not going to be here tomorrow, which was going to make for a very awkward pick segment.
Yes, I will be here.
You will be here. There was talks earlier in the week. You were going to go home.
Yes,
and then that didn't happen because the
they're
entire
getting like 2 feet of snow.
The entire East Coast is going to be buried under a blizzard this weekend.
Yes. So I'll be here.
So you'll be here making picks at 12:45. In the warm, making picks at 12:45 tomorrow. That's what you'll be doing. Yeah, so this list doesn't mean a whole lot. I wouldn't overreact to Vance Joseph being the favorite over and over and over again. I think it's these books looking at the reports, looking at everything that's out there and setting him as the favorite so that they don't, get taken for a king's ransom if it ends up being Vance Joseph. And this isn't, they're not insiders. They don't know anything that we don't. This is just their read of the situation, considering all the information that is out there. Now, I like some of the names on the list. Like Sean McDermott at plus 225, Clint Kubiak at plus 400, Brian Dable, I think would make some sense. Chris Shula.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
How do you think they create these odds? Like in the
they have odds makers who do this for a living, and they
100%. But like there's on the games, right? You can say, oh, I understand they're going to use who's playing, what their value. Like there's a formula to creating spreads.
Yes.
And odds.
Yes.
What is it for coaches?
I think it's way more vibes based and way more where the tea leaves are pointing them, and the tea leaves for the Cardinals have pointed them in the direction of Vance Joseph. Can you name an insider that hasn't suggested that Vance Joseph is a favorite to land this job?
I cannot, no.
So that's why he's minus 150.
Yeah.
And the other reason why he's minus 150 is we're not going to get a determination one way or another. They can't talk to Vance Joseph right now.
Correct.
They can't talk to him until Monday if the Broncos lose.
Correct.
So he's going to stay there at the top of this coaching search unless they hire somebody else or until he becomes available, and then the reports start to shift and somebody else becomes a lead candidate. And we have Anthony Campanelli interviewing with the team today. We'll see if he's able to wow them and maybe put himself in a position to be one of the final candidates for this job.
Yeah, hopefully it goes well for Anthony.
I'm starting to come around on the idea of him being the guy.
I am too. It really is. Can I ask though? Did we get sold fool's gold on that video?
Oh, listen. We are very much grasping at straws, and we're looking at anything to be optimistic about. I'm very aware of that because Anthony Campanelli was not on my list 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago.
It wasn't even on my radar.
Right. But you know what? A candidate emerges. We do the research. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I would not be disappointed. I don't know what to expect, but I wouldn't be disappointed in that hire.
What's the Jaguars OC? What's his name again? Grant.
The Jags OC, Grant Udinski. He's interviewing for the Cleveland job, I think.
Interesting. You won't bring him in? He hasn't been on a list.
On the Cardinals list?
Yeah.
Oh, they got 15 names. You think they got room for any more?
Yeah, I mean, how many are they actually going to interview?
No, they should have the longest list possible. But at 15 names, I don't know if they're interested in adding more names. They did add Joe Brady and Anthony Campanelli this week. So.
I would say that, but then they added 2 names this week. Like, yesterday.
So maybe 2 more will get added to the list tomorrow, I guess. Yeah, Grant Udinski might be somebody worth talking to. I know Cleveland is asked. I don't know. Did Baltimore ask? Somebody else asked, I think. Buffalo asked. That was the other team that asked about it. Yeah, so both Jags coordinators at least getting some love in this cycle. 480-864-1060 is the phone number if you want to get involved here today on the program. We've got one more before we hand things off to Jim Rome at the top of the hour. When we come back, it is the leftovers. All the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the show, we will get to them next. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert.
And then the Tennessee Titans landed Robert Saleh reportedly as their head coach. And that was the first domino that bothered me because the Cardinals were scheduled to interview with him right after. The Cardinals have to take their place in line. And it's starting to feel like the Cardinals' place in line is all the way at the back. That the Cardinals have taken that number at the deli counter and they're waiting. And they're going to have to hope when they get up that there's still a good selection to choose from. That these Rams coordinators are still in fact around. That Clint Kubiak is still a valuable option.
Live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Chicago Sticks, the Windy Cities Tour. Finally, 2 iconic bands together for the first time. September 1st, Mortgage Matchup Center. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Chicago and Sticks. All the hits, your kind of tour.
Hello, everybody. Eric Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing. As we step into 2026, I want to help you start the year with comfort and confidence. And there's no annual promotion better than our 50% off new AC units. Half off a reliable, high-efficient system your family can depend on. Don't wait for temperatures to rise and schedules to fill up. Upgrade now while savings are at their best. Make the precision decision today and call us at 602-FIX-MY-AC.
Jewelry Graham. Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Saturday, February the 14th. It's the most romantic day of the year to give and get fine jewelry. We have expertly crafted gifts for every type of sweetheart, any style, any budget. Get creative and design a custom necklace with meaningful charms including 14-karat gold letters, engravable hearts, and birthstones. For the one, we'll help you propose with a dream engagement ring. Come see our wide selection of hand-picked natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes, in stock and ready to compare side by side. At Shane Company, love is always in the air with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty, everyday competitive prices, and no-pressure shopping experience. Come see us in store or at shaneco.com because a friend wants you to win Valentine's Day. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
KTUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
I'm not here to bury Mike Tomlin, but the fact is, this absolutely is the right move. He did the right thing, and he fired himself. All good things come to an end. Going a decade without winning a single playoff game is not meeting the standard.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KTUS AM 1060. Online at KTUS1060.com and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Wrapping up today's edition of the Lunch Break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan with you. It is all the stories we didn't get to today. We call them the leftovers. We'll get to them now before we hand things off to Jim Rome at the top of the hour. Producer Evan, what do we have in the leftovers today?
I got one story for you.
One story in the leftovers. You believe so strongly in this one story, taking up all of our time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. Frankly, because there's a lot of conversation here. Bobby Hurley.
Oh man, yeah, you're right. We just need one story here. This was rough last night. Do you want to read the quote? Do you have the quote in front of you?
This is just a really defeated Bobby Hurley after a loss last night at home to West Virginia.
Defeated isn't strong enough of a word to describe the emotions that Bobby Hurley had, or the lack thereof, in this post-game media availability.
I mean, there's a ton of quotes. Here's one. We haven't played well at home in years. Like since COVID, it's a sterile environment. We don't win here. It's not a home court advantage. It's hard to see a lot of light at the end of the tunnel.
And I think if you originally read that quote without listening to the whole media availability, you could take that as Bobby Hurley throwing shade at the environment and the fans and the crowd. But he was doing anything but that. He was saying that this team hasn't played well enough to turn that into an environment where people are afraid to go play. That they haven't played well enough to have confidence in themselves that they'll be able to win at home. But you know what? He just sounded defeated to the point where, can he continue to coach this team? Like, he sounds like somebody who's given up.
At one point, he was asked, would you say the players are just not receptive to your coaching anymore? This is a direct quote. I think to agree, that's an accurate statement.
We're done here.
That's it.
We're done. It's over. At the end of this year, Bobby Hurley will no longer be coaching the Arizona State men's basketball program. It's over. He is a defeated man, and he's not giving up too early. He's not, being defeated, a couple years in. He has tried.
This is 10 years in.
To turn this program around, and it just has not worked. And I think you saw last night somebody who has hit the end of the road. He just doesn't have anything more to give. Now, you may say that that's, taking the coward's way out, and you got to finish to the end, and okay. But last night, Bobby Hurley quit. And I don't mean that disparagingly. I just mean like you can tell it's over. You can tell that he realized last night this is over. He's not going to come back to this program next year. Now, where the program goes from here, there are so many questions about what that looks like, because for the last, decade or so, it's been Bobby Hurley. But last night was the moment for me where it's over. You can't continue to let Bobby Hurley run this program when that's the state of things. And I don't even want to get on Bobby, but if that's his mentality, if that's his emotion level at this point, I don't think he can do the right job here anymore.
Yeah.
It's been how many years since they've gone to the tournament?
They went when I was a junior in college, so 3 years.
They've never gone on a deep run in the tournament?
Yeah, no, they won the first 4 game and then lost to TCU in a game they should have won.
But you have the coach going up there and saying, yeah, the players just aren't listening to me. And yeah, we don't play well at home. And yeah, this isn't a great environment. Like, he just sounded like somebody who knows this is it.
I mean, the quotes get worse. We failed. I'm failing. I can't get through to the team. I don't know what else I can say anymore.
And I don't think it was an attempt to rally the group. There wasn't like he wasn't throwing water bottles or, knocking down the microphone stand. It just felt like somebody who was resigned to his fate.
And it's hard not to look at. Bobby's a suit guy. For as long as I've watched Arizona State basketball, he's on the sideline in a suit. Like little things, like he hasn't been wearing a suit recently.
He's just trying to do anything to change things
Like
up.
anything.
And none of it's working.
And that fire that we've seen Bobby have in the past, like it just hasn't felt like he's, maybe he's tried to diet or, bring it back this year in an attempt to go at it from a different angle. And it just,
I don't think
it's a very different look from, a week ago you had the lead down in Tucson at halftime.
Right. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where they almost pulled off that upset, right?
Yeah.
And it's just been really bad that they weren't able to pull that one off. And I don't think if we get to the end here and the two sides do agree to part ways, and I think that's where this is headed, I'm not going to say that I don't think Bobby Hurley tried his hardest. I believe Bobby Hurley poured his heart and soul into trying to make this program into something. It just didn't work. For whatever reason, and we can debate the reasons here on the show, it didn't work.
And we've seen this before. Like they had good recruiting classes. And like you go back every year, and I like it's painful to say some of it's injuries, but you look at the 2020 year. They went out and had probably the best recruiting class in the country. And just injuries couldn't get off the ground. And you've had guys come through here and leave and have success. And Jaden Quayton's last year, 5-star. Everybody talked about that. You just couldn't get him really off the ground as a freshman to go over the top. And then on top of the fact that he got hurt late in the year, there's just been a lot of injuries and a lot of, you don't want to say failed teams, but teams that just didn't live up to the hype.
Yeah, and Bobby Hurley has shown that he's a great recruiter, but he hasn't shown to be a great X's and O's guy. He hasn't been able to take these great recruits that he's brought in and turn it into a product that's worth something. Great. You can finish in the top 10 of basketball recruiting classes. You're not finishing in the top 10 in the AP poll. You're not finishing in the top 10 of the college basketball tournament. You're not making deep runs in March Madness with that top 10 talent. So, yeah, it's great that you can end up on a recruiting page. In today's modern college sports, anybody with the right backing and the right resources can end up on that page inside the top 10.
And it just feels like, if he's going to leave this program and they're going to need somebody, an equivalent to Kenny, that it's going to have to breathe life into this program because right now it feels dead.
Right. I don't think Bobby Hurley is going to leave this program in a better place than he found it.
No.
And when he got here, it wasn't great. But I don't think he's leaving it in a great place either. And the quotes, I don't think do it justice. If you haven't seen it, just watch it.
The demeanor.
And just tell me that and we've used that word a bunch today, but the demeanor of Bobby Hurley just told me that, like, I think he's given up. And again, I don't mean that disparagingly. I'm not trying to use it as
it's not a knock on Bobby.
It's just, I think he's realized that, like, there's nothing I can do. Like, this is just over. And it got to a point where in that press conference last night, you just saw it.
And I think was it the reports last year, at the end of last year, that was like, if they don't change the culture significantly or they don't make a run, like it's a do or die year for Bobby. And I think now writing's on the wall. He knows it. A lot of people thought they could have made a change to last year.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that they were going to make a change at the end of the last year, and they didn't. And it was all kind of leading up to this being the last year to do something, and they're not going to do it. And again, did last night make you feel like the coach has the answers?
No.
Did it make you feel like he's got a plan?
Or make you feel like at any point, like, listen, they've had a tough schedule.
I know, but in year one of being in the Big 12, Kenny Dillingham won a conference championship.
Oh, I'm not giving Bobby any excuses. I just, they've had a tough schedule. Like, if he came out and told us, like, listen, that was a really hard stretch and we failed in some games, and like, okay, maybe they could string some together, but that's not the feel of that at all.
No, it just, I think, the rest of the season is going to play out. And then I think the Sun Devils will be looking for a new men's basketball coach, and they'll be looking for their Kenny Dillingham. And I think a better example is they'll be looking for their Molly Miller.
Yeah.
And they will be looking for their person to turn a program around immediately. Molly got here, brought in her recruits, hit the transfer portal, and immediately, they're 17-3. I know they lost yesterday to West Virginia, but they are 17-3 to start the year. They were undefeated through the first 12, 13 games, 14 games of the season.
Yeah, they were 13.
And they were excellent to start the year. and they're 17-3, and I think they'll make noise in the Big 12 when it's all said and done. That's year one for Molly. Going from GCU to ASU in the Big 12 with a program that did not win a lot of games last year, turned it around. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for your Molly Miller. You're looking for your Kenny Dillingham.
Side note, they need to update that stadium.
Well, they're not building a new one. They're just
renovating all of it
over
in portions. Yeah,
a 3 or a 4 year time frame. They're doing it in like phases. I don't know if
I went there for their first game of the year, and it is just like you look up, the scoreboard's so outdated.
Yeah, it feels like you've been transported back to 2010.
Yeah,
it feels like an old rundown basketball arena. And so they need to at worst modernize it and update it. The best thing would be to build a brand new facility. That would be ideal.
I just still to this day cannot believe they did not make Mullet big enough to play both it.
Does feel weird that they built that new arena and they didn't make it a dual purpose.
Yeah.
It does feel a little odd. That's going to do it for us. Thursday edition of the program in the books. We got a fun one tomorrow. It's a conference championship Friday. We'll get you ready for both of those games. We'll make our picks. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Jim Rome, he's coming up next. Everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday. We will talk to you tomorrow. See you.